their first uniform, their first number, their first teammate, their first goal, their first coach. We take great care in making sure their first isn't their last. We're so much more than a soccer class. Come play with us today at kickstarttoddlersoccer.com.
Our mission is to help players take their game to the next level and reach their potential. We help players develop fundamental technical skills such as ball control in tight spaces, dribbling at speed and changing direction, using a variety of 1v1 skills, receiving and finishing from different situations such as volleys, headers, one touch, and off the dribble, with and without pressure. In addition, we help players increase their speed of play, dominate with their off-the-ball movement, awareness of space, defenders, and teammates. We offer a variety of services such as one-on-ones, small groups, as well as large groups and team sessions. We have an experienced coaching staff that is professional, friendly, patient, while still holding players to high standards and holding them accountable. Over the past 3 years, we've built one of the best soccer-specific training facilities in the country. We've also developed one of the most detail-oriented training programs to help out players. No matter what level you're at as a player, I'm confident we can help you get better. For more information, visit our website, evolutionperformancetraining.com, or text or call 248-818-3943.
Granite City Food and Brewery has 2 Michigan locations in Troy and Northville. Serves made-from-scratch food, brews in-house beer, and even has brunch every Sunday from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. To learn more about their daily specials or to book a private party, visit gcfb.com. Make sure you head over to Granite City in Northville at the corner of 7 Mile and Haggerty, or the Troy location at 16 Mile and I-75. Now Worrell has a good cutback from him. He'll fire one, and that's going to go in!
We like to do it before we go out on the weekend.
We do.
We do it every week.
Whether we need to or not.
We did it today.
It was really dirty.
My parents do it every day.
Hey, kiddo!
Do it every day with the Unlimited Club only at Jack's Car Wash. Protect your car from the hot summer sun, dust, dirt, and contaminants all summer long with the Jack's Unlimited Club.
Join today, starting at just $24.99 a month.
Are you looking to grow here in 2023? Let the Michigan Soccer Network help you and your restaurant fill more seats. Help you and your law firm get new clients. Help you and your dental practice find more patients. Find more roofing customers this upcoming summer. And to help you and your medical practice find new patients. To learn more or get started, visit MichiganSoccerNetwork.com.
I'm a husband. I'm a father.
I'm a sister.
I'm a son. I'm a brother.
I'm a daughter. I'm a sister. I'm a referee.
I'm a referee.
I am a referee.
I'm a referee.
Don't just burn calories, torch those little suckers. Base Camp Fitness Troy, opening up this March, will help you get maximum results in half the time. Our intensity intervals of cardio and strength training will supercharge your calorie burn, all in just 35 minutes. Make sure to lock in our founders rate and claim your 2-week risk-free trial by scanning the QR code on your screen. Base Camp Fitness Troy, located at 443 East Big Beaver Road in Troy, Michigan.
Thank you for stopping by the Michigan Soccer Network. To not miss out on any of the action, all you have to do is simply hit the subscribe button, and that way you're notified every time we bring new content or go live. Thanks for stopping by.
I watch soccer on the Michigan Soccer Network.
I watch soccer on Michigan Soccer Network.
لا تنسون تتابعونا على Michigan Soccer Network.
I watch soccer on Michigan Soccer Network.
I like to watch soccer on Michigan Soccer Network.
I watch soccer on Michigan Soccer Network.
Me gusta mirar fútbol en Michigan Soccer Network.
I watch soccer on Michigan Soccer Network.
I love watching soccer on the Michigan Soccer Network.
Back to Vitriol. He'll take a shot, and he'll bear it! And then he'll fire it from Billows, and it'll go in! Now Worrell has a good cutback from him. He'll fire one, and that's going to go in! Oh, and both goals so far. He'll fire one, and that's a wonderful save, Trinity. That's missed. Oh, it's Stone! And the... He'll fire one now from distance, and that is in! What a strike by Ben Maher! Well, hello, everybody, and welcome here into MSN Weekly. We're live at our Premier Sports Center studios here in Shelby Township, Michigan. My name's Jonathan Turner alongside Dad Stickrat, and our guest host here tonight, Mr. Eric Pogue, the head coach of the Golden Grizzlies, Oakland University. Man, welcome in.
All right, appreciate you having me.
Well, we're excited to have you. I'll get some housekeeping things out of the way before we really get into the nuts and bolts of tonight's show. First and foremost, your first time here, we're live right now, not on one platform, but 5: YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitch. All 5 of those. So you can like us and share us and follow us all across the board, wherever your heart desires. And make sure you share this with your friends and family. It is tryout week. Day number 1 here for high school girls soccer across the state of Michigan. Want to remind everybody, we're home for the high school rankings here all season long, presented by the Michigan High School Soccer Coaches Association. So we will provide those to you every Sunday night live at 8 p.m., starting with our first ever preseason ranking show this coming Sunday, Dan. I was notified by the association that we're doing it this Sunday. So... yes, we are live and doing that, so that's exciting. But tonight, our conversation is about college coaching in 2023. It is a different time period for the game of soccer. Things have changed dramatically over the years. I remember when I was in high school, and this was only a few years ago. Same with you, right, Eric? A few years ago, it was different. I mean, recruitment was different. I remember I got letters in the mail. Back then, I don't think I ever really came across a coach too much. They just sent a letter in the mail, and if they're interested in you. Now, I mean, I think any player with a phone can, basically make a TikTok video, and they might get recruited just from that alone. I mean, I feel like social media has changed everything when it comes to recruitment. But let's get into this, Eric. Talk a little bit about here. For those who don't know who Eric is, let's get into that first. Tell our viewers here a little bit about Eric Pogue, and so they know what's going on.
Well, I grew up in Troy, Michigan, and I went to Troy Athens High School, and kind of came into the game late. I mean, I played it, I don't want to say just maybe slightly above recreational level, like as a field player. And then my junior year, Mr. Storch Coach Storch kind of switched me to goalkeeper based on my size and that kind of stuff. So I played on the JV team my junior year, and then kind of switched me over, and then played on the varsity my senior year. And Coach Parsons and Coach Sarge, saw me play in a game against Country Day back in the day, I went from basically my plan was really to enlist in the Marines to being offered a roster spot with with the Oakland Pioneers, and so went there, redshirted for a year, and then I was sitting behind a guy that was a couple years older than me, an Israeli goalkeeper, and Amir Tall, and I knew I needed to get games in order to get better, and so I ended up transferring to Western Michigan, and played every minute of every game for 4 years there, and then played my summers with the Michigan Bucks, and then was lucky enough to get drafted in the MLS, and had a little cup of tea there, and played a little bit in the what is now the USL Championship, and then Gary called me up and asked me to be his assistant coach. So, 6-7 years of assistant coaching at Oakland, and then Gary retired, and I took over in 2009, and here we are 14 years later. So
wow.
Yeah, so
time flies.
So you will be entering your 15th year this upcoming fall.
Yeah,
technically, right? Because
I think because either that or 13 or 14 or 14 or 15, one of the two, but a long time. So I remember those first 6 or 7 years as an assistant, they just flew by, because I was learning my craft and learning from Coach Parsons and Sarge and just kind of learn how to doing youth soccer and stuff, and coaching camps and playing in the PDL and taking my master's degree and doing all the recruiting and doing all the scouting, and so I don't really remember much of those 6 or 7 years cutting your teeth, but it prepared me for 2009 when Coach Parsons retired and they offered the job to me, and then it's crazy to think 14 seasons have passed by, but as you say, a lot has changed. The student athletes have changed, the style of soccer has changed, the recruitment process has changed, everything about it has changed, and it's been an interesting ride, and I think particularly these last 4 or 5 years with COVID and post-COVID have really changed the landscape. When you're talking about transfer portal and NIL and social media and stuff. So yeah, a lot is different.
No, and we're going to get into this because I think it's important to talk about those changes, because those changes have had a dramatic impact on the game and how you recruit, right? And I don't want to necessarily get into recruitment because I feel like that might be something you keep close to the heart, so to speak. But I think it's important to talk about this because the freshman player that is coming up now and going to play, it's a different conversation today than it was probably a number of years ago, because as you alluded to, as a redshirt freshman, you opted to go to Western Michigan, right? And transferring back then was completely different, right? Yeah. Completely different. And now, the conversation, okay, well, if a player isn't going to play or may not get, good playing time, what's going to happen to that player as a sophomore? Are they going to stick around, right? Do they buy into the long-term aspect, right? Because you're seeing a lot of players, I'm not saying a lot, you're seeing players who are taking advantage of the portal because maybe they're not happy with their playing time. So talk about the challenges to transfer portal, because that's a whole other beast altogether.
Yeah, and I think particularly like the mid-major level, it's becoming a lot different because if I recruit a freshman and, we put the time, energy, money, scholarship into developing them and playing them, right away, a lot of times, you'll have a hard time keeping those guys. Instead of going to, say, Michigan State, they go to Oakland and they play right away, and then, Michigan State, rather than bringing in a freshman, they'd rather bring someone in, that just played 20 games for Oakland, and so there's a little bit of that. So I think it's becoming a little bit different. Not recruiting. I think the incoming freshmen are having a more difficult time finding a home. You're not seeing as many being truly recruited for maybe more than rosters, preferred roster spots and different things, because schools would rather get a kid off the transfer portal or an international player that has a proven track record at this level. And so, yeah, the timing of recruiting has changed. We have a great core nucleus in our recruiting class coming in here locally, and then, we still have probably 6 or 7 guys we're going to bring in that we're kind of waiting until the new transfer portal opens up in May. To come around, because that first transfer portal is really for the big schools to, go and kind of take a look at all the top mid-major players that are looking to, So yeah, it's a whole different ball game and timing, and I think we're all kind of learning as we go. Every year is a different, and soccer's different than basketball, different than football, and you throw in a lot of different factors there. But I think the biggest thing I can say is like the freshmen are finding a hard place to find a home, and there's a lot of really good players that are getting looked over.
Do you think part of it is what in the last couple of years in college sports, a lot of kids are getting those COVID years, an additional season? Yeah. So freshmen come in, they're not only fighting kids 3 grades ahead, they're fighting these graduate players who are given another year eligibility. This coming up year, we'll have 4 of our, seniors returning for another year. That makes it even more difficult for those incoming freshmen because, and more difficult for us to plan because we have to set scholarship money aside for them for whether it's one more semester or one more year. That probably would have went to incoming freshmen before. Wow. Now it's going to now it's going to those, and there's probably I think one more year that like next year can impact that, and then kind of the COVID stuff goes away, and we can, things will. Now it'll just be the transfer portal that really is the difference maker.
And what Eric is talking about, and as Dan as well, is talking about the COVID year. The colleges across the country, because of what happened with COVID, their eligibility was given to players who I think were freshmen through seniors. Mm-hmm. The opportunity for one more year of eligibility as part of that. So that's what he's talking about in regards to that. So the challenge, I mean, it's one thing to have to deal with the new ways and new rules and new things, because every year it seems like another rule is being added into soccer, right? Or a new emphasis or a new law or an adaptation of the existing laws of the game you got to worry about and things like that. But then you have to deal with obviously the pandemic, which that in itself was a major ordeal to have to deal with. And then you start talking about this transfer portal, right? But we were at the press conference for the basketball team, and Greg Kempe was talking about just a player. Someone actually asked the player today, what's it like to manage a player today than it was 20 years ago? And he actually had a great response. He said his non-negotiables have changed over the years. He's like, my non-negotiables have changed. It used to be a player picking their shoes. We all wore the same shoes. He's like, but how do I tell a player, that they can't wear that shoe if like Kobe Bryant's wearing that shoe on, that non-negotiable changed. He's like, but being on time, never going to be something I'm ever going to change. So over the years, have your non-negotiables been adjusted as well, just like Campy said? Yeah, I mean, the shoe one is interesting because our associate head coach, Paul Doro, was putting together our equipment order. And traditionally, we're a Nike-sponsored school, and but being a little bit farther down the totem pole, we a lot of times don't get first dibs on cleats and different stuff like that. So the cleat that they offer us sometimes is not a high level enough one for like guys, at our level. Well, this year they had a cleat, that was a high level one that we could get for the guys. And so we sent it to them, and they're like, they liked it, but then we're like, okay, well, everyone's going to have to wear them. And then they're like, oh, well, I don't know about that. So they're going to turn down like a, $200, $100, whatever dollar cleat because they're like, well, we'll wear it for practice for sure, but they want that individuality of one wants to wear a pair of white cleats, one wants to wear high top cleats, one wants to wear this, the showing up on time and respect and going to school and doing the right things. I mean, those things can't change. And to go if kids ever want to transfer, they all gotta, keep up with their schoolwork and stuff anyways. But yeah, I mean, just I feel like you're constantly recruiting your student athletes. It's instead of just recruiting them to come and then you can have a real tough love on them. You can still have tough love on them, and you got to show them that you care about them. So that you can have that tough love, but you're constantly, hey, we're going to bring in this next class, and there's a reason for you to stick around, and we can help develop you for the future, and we can help you get to the next level, and we can find you a great summer team, and we can, and that's, sophomores, juniors, seniors, because, they got people in their ear telling them, hey, you can play at Indiana, or you can play at Syracuse, or, so
yeah, I think you're constantly recruiting your student athletes, as opposed to, once they're in your family, you can kind of, keep that tough love, but you're constantly telling them why your program deserves to, they deserve to stay in your program.
So you're recruiting them every year, so to speak, to keep them in the program.
Yeah, exactly.
We're going to head to break. We're going to continue this conversation with Eric Pogue from Oakland University Golden Grizzlies, Division I in the Horizon League. Before we go to break, though, let's talk here about what it is. Today's Monday. You know what that means? It's Burger Monday at Granite City. That's right. Burger Monday means you get $6 build-your-own burgers, $10 Granite City pitchers, and $6 growler fills. I know it's just about 8:15, so you still have time to go over there. They have us live right now at both their locations in Northville and in Troy. So visit them at the corner of I-75 and 16 Mile in Troy, or at the corner of 7 Mile and Haggerty in Northville. And if you don't want to go tonight, you can head over there tomorrow for Taco Tuesday. It's tomorrow at Granite City. You're watching MSN Weekly here on the Michigan Soccer Network. We'll be back on their side of the break.
Are you looking to grow here in 2023? Let the Michigan Soccer Network help you and your restaurant fill more seats. Help you and your law firm get new clients. Help you and your dental practice find more patients. Find more roofing customers for this upcoming summer. And to help you and your medical practice find new patients. To learn more or get started, visit MichiganSoccerNetwork.com. Don't just burn calories, torch those little suckers. Basecamp Fitness Troy, opening up this March, will help you get maximum results in half the time. Our intensity intervals of cardio and strength training will supercharge your calorie burn, all in just 35 minutes. Make sure to lock in our founders rate and claim your 2-week risk-free trial by scanning the QR code on your screen. Basecamp Fitness Troy, located at 443 East Big Beaver Road in Troy, Michigan. Granite City Food and Brewery has 2 Michigan locations in Troy and Northville. Serves made-from-scratch food, brews in-house beer, and even has brunch every Sunday from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. To learn more about their daily specials or to book a private party, visit gcfb.com. Make sure you head over to Granite City in Northville at the corner of 7 Mile and Haggerty, or the Troy location at 16 Mile and I-75.
Thank you for stopping by the Michigan Soccer Network. To not miss out on any of the action, all you have to do is simply hit the subscribe button, and that way you're notified every time we bring new content or go live. Thanks for stopping by.
Saying action. Yeah. And action. Hi, we're the Tilly Sisters.
And check out,
we're the Tilly Sisters.
Check out our journey on the Michigan Soccer Network.
You weren't looking. Hi, we're the Tilly Sisters.
And you can check out our journey on the Michigan Soccer Network.
Do it around the, all right. I'll just go like this. All right. Oh, wait, what are we saying?
Welcome back here once again to Premier Sports Center Studio in Shelby Township, Michigan. MSN Weekly here on this 13th day of March, 313 day, as they say. But alongside Dan Stickrad and Mr. Eric Pogue from the Oakland University men's soccer coach, we are here talking college coaching college soccer in 2023. Before we continue this conversation, let's talk about Basecamp Fitness. Get maximum results in half the time. Basecamp Fitness Troy will open this month offering 35-minute high-intensity interval training. hit workouts, they call them. I call them hell. For the whole body, lock in the Founders rate and scan the QR code on your screen now. Base Camp Fitness Troy is located at 443 East Big Beaver Road. To inquire more or about memberships or amenities, call 586-416-1800. Oh boy, those hit workouts, they scare me, that's for sure. So, but either way, we're back here again talking
goalkeeping training.
Well, so so yesterday I was going to a birthday party. I was telling this to Steve here earlier. I've been to my sister's house, her new house, 6 times. Okay. It's a beautiful house, neighborhood. It's a one way in, one out, and one street. It's great. I saw my dad's car parked out in front, and I didn't want to park behind him, so I decided to park in front of him. So I pulled up in front of the house, and my kids and I got in the car. We walk right up the front door. I walk right on in. It's my sister's house, right? There's a party going on. Problem is, it wasn't her house. I walked into the wrong house. So these 2 kids are staring right at me. They're staring right at me. I immediately looked to my left because my sister has this office right off the front door, and it's a play area. That is not. I go, we are at the wrong house. My son's walking in right behind me. My daughter's crying hysterically. My wife can't stand up. She loses her. It was embarrassing. I'm just thankful I didn't get shot.
Yeah. That reminds you of the old '80s movies, National Lampoon's European Vacation, or the Great Outdoors movie.
Yo, gross.
Similar situations.
Two great movies, by the way. I mean, if you're gonna,
that could have gone real bad for you.
It could have gone real bad. I mean, because these kids are just playing right in front of them. I walk in there, they stop, started looking at me like, "What's going on here?" And I'm like, I'm at the wrong house. But anyways,
just kidding.
Just backtracked out.
Yeah, you crawl back, step slowly.
But we're as we're talking here about coaching college soccer and how the world is changing. During the break, we should probably do something about having behind the scenes kind of conversations. Maybe not while we're on break. But we were talking about just the difference in the way the world is today, and I think the kids aren't different. They're being raised differently. They don't know any better, right? It's not like my kids and how I'm raising them it's different than how my parents raised me. It's not their fault. They don't know any better. Us as parents, we have to do a better job of raising our children. But the reality is, in today's world, and I think it's different because of the competitiveness of the overall environment. But if you're not happy with your club team, if you're not happy with your high school team, you're not happy with your coach, what do? Well, sometimes you try to go get the coach fired. Right? Sometimes you just take your kid and take them someplace else. So there's no loyalty, right? There's no, hey, you know what? Let's be patient here. As a high school goalkeeper playing for Tim Storch, I went in and there were 3 goalkeepers who were older and better. Right, rightfully so, right? I was a freshman. There was Luke Spreitzer, who was at the school at that time. Luke Spreitzer was a phenomenal goalkeeper, but transitioned into a forward my freshman year, so he played as a forward. Mike Robinson was the goalkeeper. He went to Michigan State, phenomenal goalkeeper, who, very similar kind of story to kind of like you. He just started playing goalkeeper out of nowhere. He was a phenomenal forward and was a phenomenal goalkeeper. And then we had Jared Teets. So those were the goalkeepers above me. And so I knew I wasn't going to see varsity time, and I didn't until I was a senior. Now, in today's world, my parents might have said, hey, John, you're going to go to Troy High. Mm-hmm. You're going to go to Country Day. You're going to go to Cranbrook. You're going to go someplace else and get the minutes because Tim Storch said, John, you could be a starting goalkeeper anywhere in the state, but just not here.
Yeah.
There's no patience anymore in sports.
No, so
instant gratification.
Well, and so that's the question, right? Is what are we in this world teaching our children today as parents and as adults about that? Because the question mark isn't, well, is Oakland my destination? It's like Oakland is like the beginning point, right? It's like it used to be Oakland is your destination. That's where you're going to go to your 4 years. Mm-hmm. And now Oakland's more like a guest house. I don't mean that in the sense of Oakland, but I'm saying college in general. What's the why are you? And that's why we asked that question of our college commits as part of our series, this commitment series that we do. Hey, what led you to the school? Because if you're committing at 15 to a school or 16, you're verbally committing to a school, are you really going to end up going to that school if you're verbally committing at 16? I feel like you have 2 years left to make a change. And we don't think about long-term that way.
Yeah, I think, it is. I mean, I think you got to do a lot of, to me, more, you see, back in the day, you just see a talented player and you wouldn't, it would just be like that kid's going to be in your program for 4 or 5 years, and we're going to redshirt him for a year. Like, I'll give you, Steve Clark came in, walk on, wanted to go to Michigan State. They wouldn't give him a walk-on spot. We gave him a walk-on spot. I said, going to redshirt for a year behind Jeff Weesey, who was a fantastic goalkeeper at the time, and helped him in his development, and he played out his 4 years, and there was like never a question that he was like ever going to transfer, now I feel like that kind of situation, would be, real difficult to keep him around. I think there's just a little bit of an entitlement like factor in a lot of kids. It's like you said, if you don't like your lot in life with your club team, you don't like things at this club, then you go to the next club. You don't like things at that club, you go to the next club. So I think for me and our staff, we do a lot more research into guys and their background, and we also like kind of recruit from certain coaches that we have a trust factor. So not so much like the club itself, but sometimes like we have, 5 guys coming up fall from the Vardar U19 MLS Next Academy, which is coached by Mike Lupinek, who's one of our assistant coaches at Oakland. And so I've seen them a bunch of times. They train at Oakland. Mike coaches them, so they know a lot of our, I know them in their ins and outs, and they've wanted to be a part of Oakland since the get-go, and that's really important, for the foundational, how you build your program, and then you mix in the internationals and the transfers, around them, and I think the core nucleus of all your successful teams still have to be those top Michigan kids, but I think it's really recruiting from an area of, when Todd Hugh tells me, hey, look at these, Dawson Schrum from Sterling Heights Stevenson, 5-6 years ago, I was like, hey, are there any sleepers out there I should know about? And he says, hey, look at Dawson Schrum from Sterling Heights Stevenson. Like, that carries a lot of weight with me. So we go out and we look at Dawson Schrum, or look at Nick Rorelth from Troy High.
Phenomenal player.
He fits all the pieces to the puzzle, for us. So I think recruiting and getting feedback and references from people that you trust can really help in creating that family atmosphere.
Yeah, so you think about that too, right? And if I look back at how it was back then when I was playing, we talk about it in regards to the academy. The academy is supposed to be like this pathway, right, where players showcases and things like that, all year-round club. That creates an opportunity for college coaches to come to these tournaments. I know you go to quite a bit of showcases. Mm-hmm. But a lot of these players, have cell phones, have their own recruitment things that they set up. And so how are you finding the players? I know you said you see some coaches. I know you go to showcases, but are there players out there who are really, really good, do a really good job of selling themselves on why they should be in your program, and they've gone it alone, and they don't necessarily hook up with all these different, clubs and GAs and all that kind of stuff?
People ask me all the time. Just because you don't have to be MLS Next, I think it fits for certain people, and there's great players at Nationals and great players at Michigan Stars, and there's guys that we find. So it just kind of what works for everybody, and I think you can find good players at all different spots. You can't just say, oh, I'm just going to recruit the academy kids.
Yeah.
Because those are a different kind of kid as well. Than I think there's a place for high school soccer, and there's a place for kids that play high school and club, and sometimes I think it's a matter of what high school you go to. Are they going to help in your development? What's the coach like? What's the team like? What's the training environment going to be like? Do they do video review? Are they actually practicing because they're playing 15 games a week in high school? So I think a lot of times it's like, the top schools have a lot of good players on them. So, training is good and coaches is good. If you're going to go to Athens and play for Todd Hugh, and you're going to get a quality environment to continue to develop, but some other places aren't so lucky. We got Micah Sonnenberg who went to Brooklyn Center, or Kevin Hubble who scored 16 goals in one game, and up in Benzie Central. And, so if he was down playing in a different place, he'd probably be more apt to play in an academy type setup. So I think everyone just has to kind of see what works for them. And, but I think in terms of the recruitment and stuff, I think, there's some that kind of go about it alone, but I do think there's, highlight videos are great, and some, I'm not big on these recruiting agencies and these kind of things because they kind of feel more like, I don't know, I want to call it junk mail, but like, there's no like personal touch to them. So references and stuff is really important to me, and we like to kind of stick with the core nucleus of who we build our program around of local talent, and then mixed in with international and junior college players. So, but I think there's tons of different ways to be recruited, and it's not kind of a one-size-fits-all approach.
Do you like being in the Michigan atmosphere? Because like in Michigan, you have 3 or 4 academies feeding into the system. There's over 500 high schools with boys soccer teams. You have ECNL. You have over 100 clubs overall that have club teams. Yeah. You even have clubs in the Upper Peninsula, so there's a lot of options just in your home state.
Yeah, I think for us, like, doesn't make a lot of sense to go. Like, I mean, I still like if you want, maybe there's a kid at Pacesetter. I mean, that's just outside, or Fort Wayne, but I mean, there's Kalamazoo, King. You got. We don't have to go very far, and if you look, there's tons of schools coming into Michigan because there's so many good players. You got Notre Dame coming to find players here. You got, I always kind of tease some coaches, hey, you stay out of Michigan. I'll stay out of your state, and because I don't know those kids that well, and I don't know those coaches as well. So when I say, or if I see a good player, maybe he just had a good game, and I don't have as personal a relationship with maybe that club coach where I can get a real good, solid feedback. So, I don't think we have to go far at Oakland, even though there's a ton of good options. Not just Division I, but I mean we got some top Division II programs here. We got some of the best Division III programs in the nation. We got some of the best NAIA programs in the nation. So we got one of the best JUCO programs in the nation, so, I mean, I think there's a lot of competition for the players, but I don't think, for us, we don't really feel like we have to go far to find top players to help compete to win Horizon League championships.
With so many options, though, does it make it easier to find that diamond in the rough? You mentioned Kevin Hubble, Northern Michigan. Benzonia, Benzie Central, not a powerful high school. You had the other kid from Brooklyn, Columbia Central, not a power, but he helped kind of put that high school on the map. But those guys had great high school careers.
Yeah, they had great. Yeah. I mean, we found Kevin really through the ODP system because, our associate coach Paul Doro and me coached his age group. So, we were like, hey, man, this kid's got, I mean, he's used to maybe, not playing the highest level, but when he's playing ODP and stuff. So, yeah, I mean, we're trying to still, I mean, ODP system is a little bit antiquated, but I still think there's a place where you can find a player or two for us. We're still hitting the clubs. And I think the big difference for us, the really hard part is you can really be out recruiting every single weekend. And you could always recruit a lot when I first started in 2001, 2002, but now it's like, I mean, there's so many different. Before it used to be just MYSL and MSPSP and MRL and that, and then now it's like this E64 National League Pro, and I mean, there's just, you could be somewhere every weekend, and that's the part that gets difficult because you just get strung, too thin.
Right.
So I think that's one of the hard parts for us is just not getting, we can't be everywhere all at the same time.
Just like the Oscars, sometimes you can put the music on to go to break. Oscars did take place last night. We're having a great conversation here as we head to break here. Let's talk about the FC Barcelona camp, which is an exclusive opportunity to learn the mythologies of the unique Barca style. FC Barcelona coaches will arrive across the United States in UFOs to conduct the training sessions and teach you the techniques of the most successful football soccer academies in the world. Coming this July 3rd through July 7th, Barca is coming to the Legacy Sports Center in Brighton, Michigan. Scan the QR code on your screen and to register at camps.fcbarcelona.us. Use promo code FCBMSN to save $30 off registration. It's MSN Weekly. It's Monday night. We'll be back. Let's start the break.
Thank you for stopping by the Michigan Soccer Network. To not miss out on any of the action, all you have to do is simply hit the subscribe button, and that way you're notified every time we bring new content or go live. Thanks for stopping by.
Clubs love Ollie because it helps them manage their club and accelerate the development of their coaches and players. Every soccer club talks about their focus on development, but nobody actually measures it until now. We've developed the capability for every one of your teams to easily capture pro-level game stats in real time using a mobile phone. It's one thing at the end of the day to look up the results for your club, but how valuable would it be for directors to actually see how each team played? How well did a team possess the ball and control the game? How well did they create dangerous chances inside the box? How did your top players perform? And how is each coach improving from week to week? Ollie provides this powerful data through a club dashboard that shows club results and lets you drill down into any game or player. Ollie also includes team and club management that lets you communicate instantly with coaches, parents, and players, and lets directors see every club event so they can easily coordinate visits to matches and training sessions. It's got everything you need in one simple app. Reach out to us to get your club started today.
We're going to try and win this thing. We're going to go for it, right? You know, you're watching your team, you're watching them play, you're watching them practice. Is this a team you thought at the beginning of the year was going to be there at the end?
Yes. And honestly, you know, I told my team this, and I told a lot of people this. It wasn't unexpected. I think we have a top program. I was actually pretty disappointed that we hadn't won one up until now. I think we've had some great years before, 2016, 2017, 18, even 21. 19. I mean, where things just didn't click. They didn't work out for us at the end of the season, where we had great seasons and didn't work out. But this year, you know, everything came together, and to be honest, it wasn't unexpected.
Okay. No, and that's good. I mean, like, you know, you think about it. You said there's lots of times you watch, and we had Todd Hugh here a few weeks ago, and there was a year that his team did not make it all the way to a state final, and that was the team that he said was the better team that he thought was going to go. And then when they won it, and maybe not been the better team he had, but that's sometimes how it shakes out. Welcome back here into Premier Sports Center Studios. Jonathan Turner, Dan Stickrat, Eric Pogue. It's MSN Weekly. Over the weekend, Detroit City FC got their opening game of the season. They lost to San Diego Loyals in the 42nd minute goal. To only goal of the game, 1-0 was the final score of that one. We'll be out at the April 4th U.S. Open Cup matchup, covering that game from the sidelines. Either one of our staff members will be at a high school game. We'll talk about that as we release the high school schedule coming up here later this week. We got a full docket of high school games coming up, over 13 in April. I think we got 20 or so in May. So a lot of high school games coming up here. But let's talk and continue this conversation. But before we do, I got one more readout in, and I don't want to skip over that. That's important. Got to get these readouts in. Evolution Sports Training. Join Evolution Soccer Training for Finishing Fridays. Every Friday from 7 to 8 p.m., players will receive specialized training dedicated to enhancing your ability to score goals. Visit evolutionperformancetraining.com and use promo code MSN10 to get 10% off your session today. So Finishing Friday, more goals needed in soccer, so that's a good thing.
Yeah, well, I think that's definitely another area of the game that's changed for our players from a development standpoint. Is there's always, you're developing them through the season, but then they go into their summer teams. But now they're getting this extra technical skill training, whether it's evolution or next level training with Aaron Bird or Alex Popa. Well, I know what he's doing, or I know there's a guy out in Dearborn that does some good stuff out there and stuff. So a lot of our guys are supplementing what they're doing, and so I think there's a lot more of of that development training, especially from like young ages.
Yeah.
I think that's a big part of the thing for us, is finding kids that are still really, really passionate about the game, because a lot of times they can get that scholarship, and it's just then they're like, okay, I got my scholarship, and I did what mom and dad wanted me to, and then they get on their own and they're not really passionate about playing anymore. Especially at a school like Oakland that doesn't really have some of the, the other stuff going on to like keep you like super excited. Like you got to really love the game to go to Oakland because it's, it's soccer, all the time. So finding kids that are still really passionate about the game is important to us as well. So
well, yeah, because again, if you go to an MSU or Michigan or a Big Ten school, right, they have football games.
Yeah,
I mean, the atmosphere is it's all encompassing, right? But it's a great point. And as you talk about like the recruitment and I think this is important, right? Because I think that the college athlete out there today, or the high school athlete who's thinking about playing college at the next level, they're thinking, well, Jimmy, he got picked up. I'm better than Jimmy. Well, why is that, right? And I think a lot of players go through this, well, why am I not being recruited? And it might have nothing to do with the level of talent, but more so how that player might fit into the mold of your system, right? Because you might be a player who's a center back who moves up and plays, maybe play a holding mid role or whatever. Roles can change. We've had, I can't tell you players who are like, I was a forward, now I'm a defender. Mm-hmm. So I think it's important to maybe talk about that for a second. Is that, hey, just because you have this talent doesn't necessarily mean that you will fit into that system. So I'll talk about the characteristics that you might be looking for as a player.
Yeah, I think each college program, and I mean, I think if you're a good college program, you have an identity, and I think Steve as a referee, of the college game would, can kind of see this is like if you watch a certain team, if you watch Western Michigan play, like that they're big, strong, physical, athletic. They're direct. They're gonna kill you on set pieces, and if you're gonna beat a team like that, you play a Bowling Green. They're gonna play their 3-5-2 system, and they recruit certain players that kind of fit those roles. And then there's always those programs that are just like every year something different, or maybe even within the game itself, like it's like half the time they're a possession team, they're trying to find their identity. So I think. Yeah, it's like how they fit into the system. I mean, and how certain characteristics that each coach looks for. That I think, that can be the frustrating part because it's not just like talent for talent's sake. There's more that goes into it. There's also more like from an academic standpoint, a cultural standpoint, intangibles, work ethic. There's a lot more pieces to the puzzle than just like, oh, I just saw a good player at our ID camp, and then I saw him play a club game, and then I saw him play a high school game. And, well, you got to find out a little bit more about him from a perspective of, how he's going to fit, when he comes on a visit, do the guys like him? Does he fit into the culture of the team? So there's a lot more pieces to the puzzle.
So, which leads me to my next question, and these are the next two questions I think are really going to be impactful. The first one is for parents, right? I've heard this quite a bit, and obviously I'm not part of the recruitment process, but I've heard this quite a bit that you hear it on social media now is that a college coach, if a parent reaches out or walks up to a college coach, then that's the chance of that might ruin it for the player, right? We talk about that, and we know that there are parents out there that ride that line, or are over it all the time. We know that. What is your advice to parents in regards to this process? Recruitment, right? What is that advice that you'd give to them that you think they should take away from this?
Yeah, I mean, parents got to be a part of the process. I mean, but they can't be the lead. Like, I mean, at the end of the day, they can help the process. They can't. Like I always say to recruits at like our ID camp, and I have the parents around. I'm like, I know when it's the parent writing the email because one, it's like. A page long, perfect paragraphs, perfect sentence structure, and I'm like, come on. Like,
no run-ons,
Grammar, please.
Basically an email written like a text message, that's coming from, an actual recruit. But, I mean, there's a financial piece, and a lot of times they're not fully equipped to make like a decision like that on their own. So I think they have to have a role in it, and what I do is I email back and forth with recruits, but I always I always CC the parent on it so they know what's going on. Obviously, I have them along for the visits and stuff and a part of the phone calls and stuff. But, the lead really has to be from the you know, because they're the ones that are going to be spending the next 4 to 5 years with you. And so, you know, you want to get to know them in this process. And, you know, you'll have some parents, like you said, that are a little overbearing, and you'll be on a campus tour, and you'll say, hey, Billy, you know, tell me a little bit about this. And the dad will, like, start answering the question for them, you know, and you're like, you know, so I'll say, hey,
you got to
Paul,
cut the cord
no,
sometimes.
I'll say, hey, I'll like whisper to Paul, like, hey, like, take them somewhere else, you know, like take the dad over there, and so I can have some one-on-one time with, but yeah, they need to be a part of the process, because it really is a, you know, it's not just you know, it's not just the future student athlete, but I don't think it can be led strictly just by the parent, you know, because it's not the parent that's going to be going to school there for the next 4 to 5 years. So, but I think they can guide them, and I think us as coaches can keep them a part of the process through, you know, just CCing. I CC them, I CC their high school coaches, I CC their club coaches, so everyone kind of has an idea of like what's going on, and so they know they're not like the person that should be responding to the email, but at least they know what's like going on in the process. Yeah, I think that's the important part is, you know, it's led by the boy or the girl, but at the end of the day, the parents are a part of the process as well.
So the point that I'm getting at is the player needs to be the driver and the parent needs to be the passenger.
Yeah, that's perfect analogy. If it's the other way around, then it's like, you know, because I feel like sometimes you're obviously living vicariously through that. Like, you know, if it you know, you can tell some parent, like if we were offering a you know, a scholarship or a spot on the team to their parent, like they'd be signed up, like signed, sealed, and delivered. But like it's not them, you know, and you know, sometimes what their son or daughter want are something completely different, and they got to have those conversations in private or in the car or, you know, whatever it is, like to see kind of what's driving them. I always, you know, ask them, you know, because there's most of the time all they care about is the athletic piece, and, you know, but there's also the academic piece, there's the financial piece, there's the social piece, and there's the geographic piece.
There's the food piece too.
Yeah.
I think that's an important factor at college, having good food, right? Yeah. Oakland has a great food court, by the way. So
we do. We used to have Chick-fil-A and no one else did. But,
so it's pretty impressive. But so, which will lead me to my last question before we head to our final break here, which is, what advice do you have for the player? Because we ask this question all the time. Like, what advice would you give to another player who just got recruited, right? Who's maybe a freshman or sophomore in high school? Maybe it hasn't clicked for them yet. Maybe it has clicked for them. But what would you give to that player who's maybe going, hey, I think I can play at the next level? You know, what should that advice be to them as they go through this process?
Yeah, I mean, I think they have to make that decision that's something, and then pursue it strongly, whether it's putting themselves in the right atmosphere to really push themselves. So that might be getting out of your comfort zone and not just playing for the same club team you've been playing for your whole life, but really going and testing yourself at, you know, a different club that might, you know, you might not be the star or whatever. So I think there's that piece. I think it's exposing yourself to different colleges and being realistic about what kind of player you are. You know, so yeah, it might be cool to go to the Indiana ID camp, but like not everybody is, you know, I have a lot of recruits that'll say, you know, I'm really interested in Oakland and I'll be at the Michigan State and Michigan camp. And I'm like, you don't seem very interested in Oakland, you know, like you seem like you're interested in Michigan and Michigan State, you know. So I think it's, you know, getting out there. ID camps, you know, get a bad rap, like because they're considered like money makers, and it's not like that for us. I mean, we break even on the situation, and I think this year 20 of our 28 players had attended our ID camp.
Wow.
At one stage. So, but we work to, because it's important to get them to campus and get their parents to campus, and so I think being realistic about what kind of place you want to go to, and then exposing yourself to those places by going on a ID camp or whatever, and kind of seeing what it's like. Because like we just talked about, I mean, we got at all different levels, you know, we got great programs here in the state of Michigan, and people just need to be a little bit realistic, and then they have to be, you know, they have to focus on their school. I mean, what they don't realize is a lot of scholarships and different things are, you know, this idea that kids are on full rides is most of the time a lot of BS, and a lot of times they're package deals. So it's a little bit athletic mixed in with a little bit of academic merit money, mixed in with financial aid, and so and then for us, like, guys, kind of as they increase their role in the team, then they have the opportunity to earn more and more athletic money. But you know, having good grades will open more doors for you, and I think that's something that needs to be told to them, like going into their freshman year, because a lot of them nosedive that first year.
Yeah.
And then they're digging themselves out of a hole, and I'm asking them to have a 3.5 by the time they graduate so that they can get the most academic merit money, so I can put the best packages together for them. So I think, yeah, I mean, that, and just be committed to every day to getting better and better and better, and you know, and it might mean you sacrifice prom or this or that, you know, in order to realize your goals.
It is a great point. It's a great response, and we're going to go to break. When we come back, we'll finish this up. But before we do, let's talk here about a local business that's been around since 1978, and we're going to talk here. Georgia Soccer Supply. Been around since 1978. Your one-stop shop for all your soccer needs. I went there as a kid. I got my goalie gloves and my cleats. We all went there. I mean, it's still a staple in Troy, located between 16 and 17 on Rochester Road, right next door to Lady Jane's.
Yeah.
I want to get them as a sponsor maybe one day as well. But anyway, it's amazing and rewarding to have the children, players come in that were original customers back in the day. Just scan that QR code on your screen, visit georgiasoccer.com, or call 248-528-2948 and save 10% off that order. So, Georgia Soccer Supply in Troy. You're watching MSN Weekly. Be back.
Our mission is to help players take their game to the next level and reach their potential. We help players develop fundamental technical skills such as ball control in tight spaces, dribbling at speed and changing direction, using a variety of 1v1 skills, receiving and finishing from different situations such as volleys, headers, one-touch, and off the dribble, with and without pressure. In addition, we help players increase their speed of play, dominate with their off-the-ball movement, awareness of space, defenders, and teammates. We offer a variety of services such as one-on-ones, small groups, as well as large groups and team sessions. We have an experienced coaching staff that is professional, friendly, patient, while still holding players to high standards and holding them accountable. Over the past 3 years, we've built one of the best soccer-specific training facilities in the country. We've also developed one of the most detail-oriented training programs to help out players. No matter what level you're at as a player, I'm confident we can help you get better. For more information, visit our website, evolutionperformancetraining.com, or text or call 248-818-3943.
Now Worrell has a good cutback from him. He'll fire one, and that's going to go in!
Hey, give me some of it. Okay, all right, I'm going. The Journey, the Tilton Girls, take one.
My favorite moments ever as a father was the moment she made the A-team.
They would always push me and my friends as well.
Their authenticity and integrity that they were able to do everything with.
I still struggle with a little bit, just like the confidence, like knowing that I'm in a different environment.
I could not be more proud of you, Justice, and of you, Remini.
It's gonna be a roast here.
No, it's not a roast.
Motion, and it was hard. Don't tell anybody that.
And action.
I'm a husband. I'm a father.
I'm a sister.
I'm a son. I'm a brother.
I'm a daughter. I'm a sister. I'm a referee.
I'm a referee.
I am a referee.
I'm a referee.
To do it before we go out on the weekend.
We do.
We do it every week.
Whether we need to or not. We did it today.
It was really dirty.
My parents do it every day.
Hey, kiddo!
Do it every day with the Unlimited Club only at Jack's Car Wash. Protect your car from the hot summer sun, dust, dirt, and contaminants all summer long with the Jack's Unlimited Club.
Join today, starting at just $24.99 a month.
Welcome back here for our final segment here on MSN Weekly. John Turner, Dan Sickrett, Eric Pogue. Before we get into this final segment, when we talk all about food, let's talk about Ali Sports. And the official live game stat provider for MSN here for the high school season. The youth sports culture is toxic because we only measure success by wins and losses. 70% of kids quit playing by age 13. As a result, Ali Sports is changing the youth sports experience with meaningful positive data for every player, every game. Scan the QR code on your screen, head to the Apple or Google Play Store, and download the app for free. Again, they will be our official live stat provider here for all of our high school games here this spring. So check them out as we finish things up. And I'm going to ask this really, this is a really important question.
All right.
I mean this with the most sincerity in the world. Okay. If you had a go-to meal, like if you're on death row, it's your last meal. What is it? It's like,
yeah. Oh man, that's tough. I mean, my mind just keeps going to a nice pizza. But
okay.
I wish I could come up with something better, but
a nice pizza. So do you have a spot here?
I mean, you can't go wrong with Buddy's.
Okay. The Detroiters really good pizza there.
Yeah, Detroit.
Well, you got a Buddy's right by OU, so that helps.
I mean, I might have to get a second job to afford that pizza, but I'm simple. I'm a single guy, simple guy, so you can't get too complex because. It's just.
So I did say meal. This is important. I didn't say food. The reason I say that is because, if I get a pizza, I got to get an anapasta salad with it, right? I got to go with an anapasta with that burning vinegar oil they got. It burns you back your throat. Is it the same thing?
Yeah, anapasta salad is good, and it doesn't fit in with it, but. You got to have some mashed potatoes and gravy.
Oh,
and,
shoot. That is completely random and out of left field.
If I'm, on death row,
Okay, that's fair.
I'm not going to turn it down. So it doesn't all have to, fit together, man.
So we have some Sour Patch boxes on our table, and I'll move to our wide angle here, so you can see those if you're at home. I gotta find the camera button here real quick, but they're right there at the bottom of your screen. If you were as a coach, former coach of Birmingham Groves High School, we made it a habit to make sure that there were a watermelon and strawberry Sour Patch at every one of our games.
Okay.
Now, it probably wasn't the most healthy thing for our players to be eating those on the bench, but we thoroughly enjoyed it as coaches.
Yes,
is there a snack on the bench that you as coaches will kind of?
Yeah. No, we don't really have. We crush the Gatorade. On the sideline, but
it's a good plug right there.
Yeah, Kev Gardner. He'll his wife will pull out some really healthy snacks and stuff that you sometimes don't eat, but
fair enough.
I think in the game you get so wrapped up eating is the last thing
No, I get that.
We don't have any superstitions per se, but
so what's your go-to candy? If you had a go-to candy,
mine's licorice.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I love.
Not black though, right?
No, I
don't think anyone likes black licorice. Do you like black licorice?
No, as we've talked before.
I like some red vine. And there's a big difference, in licorice. the red vines and or cherry licorice is always
the smell of it's really good.
There's some gourmet. Those are gourmet ones you get like at Frankenmuth, right?
Those are Australian ones so yeah, I would say licorice, or I mean, I'm never gonna turn down some Sour Patch Kids.
That'd be.
But I'm
that'd
not,
be wrong.
I'm more of a sour than a chocolate, or that kind of stuff. So
chocolate melts. My wife loves those because it's Easter now, right? She loves those hard chocolate eggs that you get every year. She loves those things.
I've always been a Reese's peanut butter cup kind of guy, but we can't really do that if we're doing a broadcast or doing a post-game interview. Stuck to the roof of your mouth.
But then the question becomes though is so is it a freezer? Can't you put it in the freezer to keep it cold, or do you leave it out and leave it warm?
I've done both.
Okay.
They're both equally as good.
All right. I just remember going up north to Caseville. There's always Snicker bars and Milky Ways and freezing cold Pepsi cans in the fridge. Nothing was better than having a Milky Way or a Snicker bar outside in the patio with a Pepsi.
Pepsi, you can't go wrong.
No, you can't. So, but well, Eric, man, we appreciate you joining us here tonight.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me, guys. This is great. Appreciate what you're doing for the game, and you know. I said people are clamoring for soccer, whether it's youth or high school, club, college, professional, whatever it is, especially here in the Metro Detroit area. I mean, we're soccer crazy here. So
we are. And, we're excited. We're actually going to have another Oakland University member here next week. Neil Rule will be here in studio with us, broadcaster extraordinaire. He's actually up for Hours Magazine Broadcaster of the Year. So we'll talk about that here next week. He on Woodward Sports Network, he can say some pretty intense things. Yeah. So we're going to let that intensity come over here.
He has no opinions.
Not Neil, no.
We will not have a bag of candy corn here in studio for Neil next week. But we're excited to have him here nonetheless, and we're thankful that we had Mr. Eric Pogue here tonight, the head coach of the Golden Grizzlies, won the 2021 Horizon League Championship this last 2 years ago.
Yeah, we're coming back for it in 23.
That you are. If you missed any of our shows, don't worry, they're still here. They're available on demand. There's no charge. And if you want to watch them, you don't have to subscribe, but we would appreciate it. You can listen to this broadcast on any listening platform here tomorrow morning. Be available for your heart's desire, whatever platform that might be. And I want to remind everyone, the Tilly Sister, The Journey, we did a promo here in our commercial. It came out earlier this afternoon. Steve and I still working on the final edits, but that journey will be available here very soon on the network. We'll release that date here very, very soon. And again, upcoming this Sunday, the preseason ranking show. The Michigan High School Soccer Coaches Association will rank all the teams across the state. We'll take a look at that on Sunday. We'll bring it to you live right here from studio, and excited about that. But that'll wrap it up here. Go Red Hawks is the impartiality was just thrown out the window here as we're walking out of here, basically. Yeah. But either way, we appreciate you, Dan Stickrat, Mr. Eric Pogue. My name's Jonathan Turner. This is MSN Weekly. We'll see you next time on the Michigan Soccer Network.